on camera or anything. Check! Okay. What's she yelling about? Oh, it's focusing. Okay, great. Okay, so, hello, virtual students. Hello, non-virtual students. My name is Mr. Smith, and I am your band director. And we are having band today in the auditorium, just like we're probably going to have band in the auditorium for the foreseeable future. Why are we having band in the auditorium? Well, we can be spread out in here. This is a much larger room, and it's going to end up being safer. We've done a lot of research about what kinds of spaces are safest for us to be in, and the auditorium is really good because the HVAC in here is fairly strong. Not that it's like cool, but that it recycles the air very frequently, and that the filtration that's in this room is really good. That means that we are able to play in here once some things happen, and it'll all be fine. So the plan this year is that we're going to be playing in class, but it's going to take a little while. If things go to plan, we might be able to play late next week. Now, why is it going to take so long? Well, we have to get the school board to approve an order that we've made for a special kind of mask that allows like brass players to put a mouthpiece in through your mask, and then bell covers that cover your instrument as well. Because not only do you have to have a mask on, but your instrument has to have a mask on. And I know you might say, that sounds super stupid, but there's a lot of research that's been done, of like actual science, that it does cut down on the aerosols and the droplets that come out of your instrument. And if we're going to play, I want to make sure that we do so safely. In addition to that, the places where you're sitting are also very specific. Trombones, you've got 9 feet in front of you. Flutes have actually closer to 10 feet in front of you. Then everybody else is just 6 foot, which a little more than 6 foot, which is basically 4 chairs. So nobody should be closer than 4 chairs apart, except for you guys, and you guys are 6 foot apart. So, which is conveniently about the size of a marimba. So once we get a marimba in here, you can be that distance apart and it'll be fine. Indeed. So, percussion friends, you are up here in the front because I'll have stuff for you to play. You'll probably have to move a little bit. I don't know, we'll figure it out once we get instruments in here. So, everybody will be able to play your instrument once we get that approved by the school board and once those things come in. And then I have to figure out how we're going to get instruments out of the storage room and into here. It's going to be a big mess. But it's okay. We're going to make it happen, and we will be playing. Virtual friends, you'll be playing too. It's going to take a little bit of time for us to get ramped up, but I'm going to start sending music to you guys as well, and you can start playing at home and sending in recordings. We'll talk about that, and I'll be sending you guys an email with some information about that, soon. Questions about that part of it? No? Okay. All right. So you need to stay in your assigned seats. I have to, as every other teacher has probably told you already, make sure that I know exactly where you're sitting. So yeah, just make sure you stay where I've put you. Let's see. I think that's all I need to do there. Hi. I hope that you guys are doing okay. I've missed all of you just so much, and this ridiculous 5-month period of weird has just been really hard for me personally, and I'm sure it's been really hard for you guys too. So it's good to see you again, and I hope that you're all doing okay. I know this is super weird and uncomfortable and everything else, but it's still band class, right? Like, we're still going to be doing everything that we normally do once we get started up. And even though we're spread out and we've got some friends who are still at home, I'm going to try to make it as close to normal as I possibly can. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try my very best to make it still what you're used to. And I want you to get all the great benefits out of being in this room and being in this band that you would normally get. So I'm going to try. I know, like I said, it's weird. but I'm gonna try. And all I can ask is that you try too, right? You try to make it as normal as possible. So, when are we playing? I can't answer that already. We will get to playing once the school board approves our masks and our instrument masks, and I get some of the other simple logistics figured out. So, best case, it'll be late next week. Worst case, it'll be early the week after. So, well, what are we going to do until then? Don't worry, stuff. On Monday, we're going to start doing actual stuff in here. Expect to do a lot of rhythms and things like that early on, and we'll learn some stuff and do some kind of rhythm games and things in here that doesn't involve us playing your instrument yet. Yeah, so it's probably a good time to get into the syllabus. Let's talk about the syllabus. Syllabus. Oh, actually, let's do something else first. Get out your phone, because I'm sure you got it on you. That's fine if you don't have one. If you don't have one, then, connect your brain to the internet. Go ahead. You got to find the Wi-Fi network in your brain. Yeah, straight into your left ear, probably your left ear. Different people. So you are hopefully familiar with what Schoology is. If not, now's the time for you to get logged into this. If you go to scsc.schoology.com, just like it says up there, and you feed it all of your credentials, your new email address, which is the whatever your previous one was, plus at scsc.school, then you'll get in, and your Schoology stuff is going to be the main way for me to get things out to you this year. The website is still going to work. The Facebook page is still going to have some stuff on it. But this is going to be like the main back and forth between students and me this year. So in here right now, you've got a folder called Basic Materials, which is just like a fingering chart, a circle of fifths, and some other things. You've got your daily plans at work, so those slides that you see right now, the big bright orange face-ripping slide, that's going to be in here too. That'll be updated every day, so if you miss a day, or if you're unsure what you're supposed to be doing at home, if you just check that out, you'll see exactly what we're doing in class at every moment. The syllabus is here, and then daily recordings. The daily recordings are really for you, my virtual friends. That's how you're going to watch the band classes that are happening. So obviously you're not live, you are recorded, but I will keep a running list of every single band class recording in there for you guys to watch. Now, you physical kids, you could go back and relive your time in band class, I guess. I don't know why you would want to, but you could, and you could re-watch every band class that is going to happen if you really, really want to. So if there's something that you missed or something that you want to hear again or whatever, you'll be able to go back and watch those. Now, that is a huge amount of work for me to keep up with, to update all these things. So please, make sure you look at this so you know what we're going to be doing in class, you know what we did in class, and that you kind of stay up on what's going on, because, man, that's going to take a huge part of my day, just keeping all this up to date. All right, let's get into the syllabus. Syllabus. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. It's not hugely different than what it is most years. The grade for this class, and look, it's band class, right? So you have to do some spectacularly silly things in order to not get an A in band class. That is not going to change. But the way that I determine, hopefully, your A is going to be slightly different. Instead of doing chunks every 2 weeks, the way the high school did previously, we're going to do a chunk every week. And that's true for virtual kids too. So you have to submit stuff to me every week, and you have to pass one every week in order to get your 10 points. Now, that's not really going to be a big deal because you have a lot of time. So if you want to try to, especially with the size of this class physically, I could get to every single one of you to listen to you do something every day, and we could probably still have time to do things, right? So if that's what you want to do, if you, like on Monday, like, hey, I'm going to pass this, okay, there'll be a time that we go through and I'll let you do your chunk tests. If you pass it, great, you got your 10 points for the week. If you don't pass it that first time you try, the next day you can try again. And if you pass it, yay, then great, no problem, you get your 2 points. If you need a third day, okay, fine. If you pass it, great, you get your 10 points. If you don't pass it that third day, and you have to do it over the weekend or something at home, and you pass it, or you record yourself, you send it in to me, and you pass it, great, you still get your 10 points. What I'm saying is, you have to pass one chunk a week, every week. That's your main participation grade now. So that's true if you're a virtual kid. You'll have a form in here that you have to submit to me. That's not going to start this week, it's going to start next week. But you have to get all that stuff turned into me once a week, okay? Any questions about that? All right, cool. Performances. So yes, we are still going to have performances. The first one that I have on the calendar is October 2nd. That first one is going to be a virtual performance. Well, what the heck does that mean? Well, hopefully, by then, we have Chromebooks. So instead of your regular book fees that we have for band class, and usually for band class we use your book fee money, well, we have to use your book fee money to buy sheet music. But, if you know what the band room looks like, there's 20 some odd filing cabinets back there that are filled to the brim with sheet music. We don't particularly need more sheet music right now. Instead, we were able to, Mrs. Caldwell, Mrs. Jocham and I were able to buy a whole suite of programs that are going to run on your Chromebook that includes all kinds of stuff. And one of those things is a program that allows you to record and mix music. And I'm going to teach you how to mix your own music. That's going to be a big part of what we do once the Chromebooks come in. That means that I will be able to send you out into the world with some music that we have rehearsed in class that I'll pass out to you in class, and that will kind of go through together here or at home in class. And then on a certain day, you have to submit a recording of yourself that you have made to me that I will assemble all together and make a regular sounding band piece that we then put on YouTube and send out to everybody. That's going to be what our concerts look like for the time being. Now, hopefully we can go back to having a real, actual, physical, in-person concert, and all the rest of these concert dates are, maybe it's virtual, maybe it's not, and I don't know which one it's going to be. We're just going to have to wait and see, how things go. But that first one in October is definitely going to be virtual. And that's okay, because it's going to give you the opportunity to learn how to use this program, which for a lot of you is going to actually be a lot cooler and more useful than you think. Learning how to use what's called a DAW, a digital audio workstation, is a skill that a lot of musicians are now realizing they have to have. It used to be that only music producers or people who run, live shows for bands and things needed to be able to do something like that. But this whole quarantine thing has said that, hey, all musicians, no matter the level, really need to have the basic understanding of how to record themselves and how to mix and master themselves. And I'm not great at it, but I've been doing that for a long time, and I'm going to teach you everything I know about how to do that. And that's a real skill that you will be able to take with you. And believe it or not, that can apply to lots of things that are even outside of music. And you'll see as we get moving on that. So there'll be a tutorial video for you guys to watch in person, and for you guys to watch at home. I'll make a video that talks through everything and shows you what to do. So when the Chromebooks get here, whenever that is, that's what we're going to do. So these required performances: October 2nd, December 5th, April 19th, May 23rd, and then graduation on June 6th. Who knows what they're going to be? They might be real in-person concerts. They might be not. I don't know. Who knows? But one way or the other, your participation in those concerts is worth 100 points, which, isn't going to be like, oh, I showed up with my music and my instrument wearing concert black on time, the way that it used to be to get your 100 points. Now it's going to be, did you meet the deadline to return in your recordings, right? So that's going to be what is worth 100 points. There is a concert every 9 weeks, so you'll get about 100 points worth of chunk participation, and then about 100 points of the concert participation. That's going to be your grade. Questions about any of that? Okay. Yeah?
So, would we get, if we're going to do virtual for
Uh-huh.
recording, so would we get like a recording of what the music is supposed to sound like?
No.
No?
You have to use your, no, you have to, read what's on the page.
Yeah.
And we're going to work on the music in class, right? The reason why I don't want to just throw a camera up here pointed at you guys to be like, okay, there's our performance, is that this distance is huge. And so what you hear versus what you folks in the back are going to hear could be really different. Those of you who have had marching band practice in this room know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So we want to do the virtual performances where it's just one at a time, basically, like you're just recording yourself. But we will work on the music in class exactly as normal. And that's true for virtual kids too. I will go through and talk about the music and rehearse it exactly as I would in a regular band class, and you can follow along at home with those things. Now, it's going to not sound great because of the distances, but we can rehearse those things together, and then you go home to record yourself. Cool, good question. Any other questions about that? Cool, all right. Please understand that the determination between a physical and virtual concert will be communicated as far out as circumstances as possible, because circumstances are beyond our control. Basically, I don't know what's going to happen. So just, look at communications and we'll figure it out. I will communicate to all of you the way that I have previously. Email, band website, scband.net, and Schoology. Also, if it's a really important thing, I'll put it on the Facebook page. You do not have to be a part of the Facebook page. It's mostly just for another way to communicate with people. But if you want to join the band Facebook page, you can find it and join that. And then mostly it's just a bunch of silliness that gets posted up there. But sometimes there's useful nuggets, and that's fine. Okay, next. It's funny, I haven't talked this much in months. Concert attendance, yeah, that doesn't really matter now, because even if you have a conflict on the day that I release the virtual concert, so if you turned in your stuff, then okay, great. But Smith, I have a big thing on the day that the recordings are due. Cool, turn it in sooner. Oh, yeah. Well, how am I supposed to know that that's the case? I don't know. Look at your schedule. Be responsible, right? Right. So the concert attendance thing, it shouldn't be an issue this year. Much in the same way, concert black, right? Probably, isn't going to be too much of an issue this year. Now, if you want to be all dressed up in your virtual performance recording, cool, that's great. There's already been a request since that one in October is probably going to be spooky themed, spooky, that can we be in costume when you record yourself? And the response to that is, sure, I guess, why not? I don't care. So, I'm not worried about the concert dress requirement is what I'm saying here, okay? Okay. Skipped some things. Concert. Okay, the final will remain completely unchanged this year. So those of you who have been in high school band class, you already know what's up with this, and you're already as prepared as you were last time you took the final. For those of you who were 8th graders last year and are freshmen now, my final is, as legend says it is, you have to be able to play all 12 major scales from memory. Yay! Including the arpeggio up and down. That has not changed. That is what it always has been, and it is what it always will be. So, the difference is going to be this year that I don't know if we're going to do that in person or if we're going to do that online. And who knows, because we might be e-learning by then, who knows. If we are e-learning, I need a cough button, sorry. If we are e-learning, we'll probably set up like a one-on-one Google Meet for me to listen to you play your scales. If we are in person, then I'll go through and listen to you play them in person exactly the way we normally would. If you're a virtual student, your final will be done by me setting up a time on Google Meet, and we will talk to each other back and forth, and you can play your scales for me that way. So the scale final will be done in real time, no matter what. If you're physical, e-learning, or virtual, we will do that stuff together that way. So I'm telling you right now what your final is. All 12 major scales, up and down with the arpeggio, 1 octave. Now, are you going to have to play all 12? No, but you don't get to know which ones you're doing. It's randomly assigned to you which 3 you have to play. You do not get to choose. Because of that, the only real way that you have to prepare is to be able to play all 12 major scales from memory. So you do get a circle of fifths that I will let you use, but it's one that I provide to you with no notes on it, nothing. It's just a blank circle of fifths. So you can't bring your own thing that you've written 1,000 notes on and be like, I can use that. Nope, you can't. But it's a circle of fifths. But look at all the crap you put on it. Nope. So, yeah, that is the final. And freshmen traditionally have a little bit of a rough time with it because they don't start working on it for a long, long time. I got an idea. Start working on it. You have time right now. You know, while we're not playing here at school, your instrument is probably at home. Start practicing. If you don't have an instrument at home because you play a large mallet instrument, that's fine. Get yourself... While your mouth is hot? Is that what you said? Oh, I thought you said while your mouth is hot. I don't know. I mean, my entire chin area is sweating right now, but that's why I have a beard. Anyway, that took a tangent. So you can start practicing this stuff now if you want to, and to get yourself ready. We will also be working on those scales together here in class. So I'll guide you through those scales in order to kind of refresh your memory. But you still have to do the work on your own. If you put this off and you wait until December, a couple of days beforehand, before you start working on this, you will get completely wrecked by it. My basis for saying that is, every time that I've taught band and I've done this, and kids who have put it off got completely wrecked by it, experience has taught me that that's what the case is. So if you want to get good at this, start practicing now, okay? And it's not nearly as hard as you think it is once you start practicing. It sounds really intimidating, but it's really not that bad once you get used to it. In the spring, minor scales will be the game, and we'll do the exact same thing, but minor scales. So if you're in the band program for all 4 years, you will have done the major scales 4 times and the minor scales 4 times. And you would think that every time you do it, it gets easier, but the data also suggests that seniors have a tendency to do pretty bad on this because they don't practice, because they're like, oh, it's my 4th time doing this, I can do it, it'll be fine. Anyway, so make sure that you are practicing your scales. Questions about your final? It is worth 1/7 of your total grade, that one final. And that can be pretty rough on people. So in order to lighten it up a bit, I do also give a written test, which is usually dirt simple. that's worth about half the total final to try to help offset the occasional pain that is wrought by the scales. So I do try to be friendly to you. And that final will be done in person and virtually with your Chromebooks. It'll just be like a Google test, basically. Or maybe I'll make it on Schoology this year, I don't know. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, rules. Do not touch or play any instrument that is not yours without specific instruction from me. That should be even more important now because of everything. Don't mess with stuff that ain't yours. Please and thank you. Then respect yourselves, your classmates, and your teacher. Don't be a jerk. Just don't be a jerk. Be nice to each other. We're one band. Be friendly. Be willing to work with each other. And it's all going to be fine. I'm not worried about this. You guys are great kids. It's not going to be a problem. Okay. Questions about any of that stuff? Okay, cool. Next. Get out of here, Schoology. Nobody likes you. Whoa. Okay. Plans for this year. So, for those of you who did my e-learning stuff last semester, and you did like the point things that I put together, you'll remember that one of the point things was go dig through our music library digitally and find me some pieces that don't suck and rate them on a scale of 1 to 5 and then tell me what you think about them. What I'm going to do to start choosing music for us is I'm going to go through that list that people generated for me and see what music might be appropriate for us to start playing. Since our first performance, that is going to be a virtual performance, is in October, I'm going to start trying to go through and find some appropriately October-y kinds of music and get that out to you guys to start working on. So next week, we will do chunk tests here in person and virtually. We're only going to focus on the rhythm chunk tests for now because we aren't going to be able to play, but we can clap and count our way to glory. And that will be starting next week, so you'll get your participation points for that next week in class. And virtual people, you'll be able to submit those online. I'll have a tutorial to show you how that works. If you lost your chunks and stuff, it's okay, I'll get you new ones. You're going to start your chunks exactly where you were last year. I know we usually say that we reset things if you don't complete a full set. Yeah, all that got wiped out by the quarantine thing. So wherever you stopped last year, we're going to pick that up exactly where you were, and you move forward from that point. So, and if you don't remember where you were, it's fine. I have all of your records. Middle school kids, I still have that giant spreadsheet with exactly where you were. So we'll just pick you up where you were and move you forward. But we're going to only do the rhythm ones for now, not the scale ones, for obvious reasons. Do what? You finished platinum rhythms?
No.
Then you've got something to work on. Don't worry, buddy. And the only case would be that if you literally got all the way through all the platinum things, which none of you have, I don't think, right? So, you will have something to work on. And if for those people who are on master level things, we'll figure it out. I think it's only Ellie. I think Ellie's the only one right now who's master level. A bunch of seniors got there, but they graduated. So, Okay. I think that's everything. You guys have any questions? Yes. Mayonnaise is an idiophone. If you want to know what that means, take my music history class next year. Okay. Any quasi-legitimate questions? Quasi-legitimate? Huh? Quasi? Quasi is a great word. It means kind of. Kind of. Oh, I forgot. There is a traffic pattern in this room, too. So you can see I only have one little meager arrow back there. But, excuse me. But please only use that door as the entrance and that door as the exit. All right? So you come in here and you leave there. So if you're one of these friends up here, you just go straight across and up. You guys can just go across the aisle and up. Basically, just use that door as the exit and everything will be fine. Why are you doing it that way? Because in the very great likelihood that I forget what time it is, and the other band class starts coming in, I want them to come in through that door, but you to go out through that door so we're not crossing paths, right? The band class after you guys is a lot bigger. It's almost every stand in here. So I want to make sure that, you know, we have a nice traffic pattern to keep everybody safe. There is hand sanitizer and Kleenexes and stuff back there in the back. The bathrooms right outside of the door here, right there-ish, are open, so you can use those. There's not a water fountain anywhere nearby yet, but you can have bottled water with you at all times. It's perfectly fine. Especially until we get our Chromebooks, I am not interested in policing phones. If you have a phone out, I'm going to assume that you're doing something constructive with it. If you aren't doing something constructive with it, that's your own stupid fault. So that's how that's gonna go. If it gets to be obnoxious or annoying, or if you're being ridiculous, then I'll just take it, right? I think that's it. What time is it? Band time? Band time mode? 8:18. Oh my gosh, we have so much time. Okay, virtual people, I'm gonna say bye, and I will be in contact with you next week. I hope you're all doing okay. I'm gonna do some stuff, I guess, with virtual kids. But yeah, be safe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Now I have to awkwardly go downstairs and turn the camera off.